All right, here's 75. A rancher has 200 feet of fencing to enclose two adjacent rectangular corrals. See the figure. Write the area of the corral as a function of x. If I write the area as a function of x, I get that the area equals 2x times y. Now we have two variables, but we were given this information at the top. There is 200 feet of fencing. We have fencing that is x, and then y, and y, and y, and then two more x's over here. So the perimeter, or 200, is going to equal 4 x's plus 3y. And so we can kind of do a system of equations here and substitute in. There's a couple ways to do it. One, you can just solve this equation for y. And so if you solve this for y, you get y equals negative 4x plus 200, and then you would divide everything by 3. And then for part B, it says create a table of values showing possible x values and the corresponding areas. So x value, area, so you can create a table of values, but either way, in order to calculate the area, you're going to have to substitute into this equation. So if x is, say, 10, then y, maybe I'll add a y column. If x is 10, then y is negative 4/3 times 10 plus 200 thirds. And I get y is 53.3 repeating, or 160 divided by 3. And then I would multiply 2 times 10 times 160 thirds. And you get so that's one way. Another way is to use algebra and substitute that in for y right away. And so if we do that, we get 2x times negative 4/3 x plus 200 divided by 3. And then we can distribute, get negative 8/3 x squared plus 400 thirds x. And this is what a equals. Then I'm going to show you a shortcut. I got to get my graphing calculator. I'm going to type this into my graphing calculator, negative 8/3 x squared plus, what was the other number? 400 thirds x. And then you can go to table, second graph is the table, and you can see, here's our table of values. If x is 18, remember y is the area, so the area is 1536, 1570. You can see it's getting bigger. Where's the biggest? The biggest is 25. You can just scroll right around, right through, and you can see the table of values. Okay, what is the next part? Part C, use the graphing utility to graph the function and approximate the dimensions. Okay, so if we're going to graph the function, we already have it typed in, we just need to go to graph. But we don't see a clear picture. We found from the table that the maximum was at 25. So, and then this I think was 1666 point. So we want to set our windows accordingly. So I'm going to go to Windows. We're talking about dimensions. It can't be negative, so let's call it 0. I don't know. So this is 0. Okay. And the maximum, maybe we'll say 50. The y minimum area can't be negative, so we'll say 0. And we know the maximum from the table over here, so we can do somewhere around there. So maybe I'll do 20,000. And then hit graph. Ooh, 20,000 was really too big. Oh, why did I do 20,000? 2,000. Okay, there. Now we have a nice, beautiful picture. And we can calculate the maximum. If we go second to calculate maximum, go left bound, right bound. So I'm going to go left bound, enter, right bound, enter, enter, no guess. And you can see the maximum is at 24.999999994. Repeating, that just is an error, rounding error. So really it's 25. And so that's our maximum. And then it says write the area function in standard form. So if we start with y equals negative 8/3 x squared plus 400 thirds, our first step here is to factor out the a value. So if I factor out the a value, 400 divided by 8 is 20, and so is 50, and so since I took out a negative, this should be minus. Oops. Minus 50x. We're going to complete the square here to write it in vertex form. Remember, when they say standard form, they mean vertex form. Not sure why the book does that. So we're going to figure out what is this magic number here. Negative 50 divided by 2 is 25, and 25 squared is 625. So that's my magic number. But remember, if I add it here, I have to subtract 625 times negative 8/3. 625 times 8/3 is 1,666. And so if I rewrite this, I get y equals negative 8/3 times, remember I'm going to factor this, so this is x minus 25 squared, and then if I'm subtracting a negative, I'm really adding 1,666.6 repeating. And you can easily tell from this vertex form that the vertex is what we got for our answer. Let me just make sure I answered it. Yep. All right. Hopefully that helped.